Hey everybody, Alex back here again with our weekly videos. As you know, we've been very regular, and from all the messages we've been getting from you guys, I'm going to talk about the two of the most important questions, and actually not of the most, but the most important questions in the PTE exam. The first one is called Repeat Sentence in your speaking section, and the other one is called Write from Dictation in your listening section. Those of you guys that have been watching a lot of the videos, you know by now, I've mentioned it many times, if you count the total marks in the exam, repeat sentence is the one type of questions that gives you the most marks in total. It gives you a lot of marks towards your speaking, but it also gives you marks towards your listening. And of course, if you've been watching our videos, you know that there's one question that you cannot mess up, where one question could be the difference between passing with 79 and failing with 77 or 78. That question is Write from Dictation, which is at the end of your listening section and obviously shares marks in your writing, but also in your listening section. Now, why I want to talk about those two questions today in particular is the way you're going to take notes. So you guys can see one of our videos in the past. I've talked about how to take notes for dictation, what are the things you need to know. But there's a lot of confusion between people when they're taking notes in dictation and when they're taking notes in repeat sentences, because it seems like it's the same type of question. It tests the same skill, your short-term memory, it tests your ability to take notes, it tests your ability to check your sentence grammatically. But there's one big difference between the two questions. So what is that difference? The difference is the timing. As you know, in repeat sentences, you get either 10 or 12 questions, whereas for dictations, you only get 3 or 4 questions in total. Now, the major issue is that in speaking, you get dedicated timing for the repeat sentences, meaning as you're going through your speaking section, you know exactly when the time is finished and when it goes next. Whereas when you talk about your listening, Write from Dictation, it's all the way at the end of your exam. And if you didn't manage to save at least 5 minutes for your dictations, you might be hard pressed for time. Meaning, maybe you have enough time, maybe you don't, or maybe you have enough time to write your sentences, but you don't have enough time to actually check your answer and spelling and so on. So, I mentioned this before, but for repeat sentences, you can mess up 1, 2, 3, even 4 sentences and still get 79 plus. For dictations, out of 3 or 4 questions, if you miss one, you're gonna have a hard time getting 79. If you miss 2, you might get 65, maybe not. But if you miss 3 of them, you're definitely not even getting 65. And if you miss 4, maybe you don't even get 50. So this is why I really want to emphasize how important it is. Now, let's actually get into how you take notes for those questions. And I'll show you guys a quick demo. And again, if you haven't seen this video, watch it right now. It's one of our most popular videos on YouTube. I think we had more than 150,000 people that saw it. They found it extremely helpful. And as you know, one of the most common ways is taking initials. So what does taking initials mean? That means as the sentence is playing, I'm going to write only the first letter of each word. So let me give you guys an example in repeat sentences, if I do this question in particular. And I'm just going to play it on my screen as well. So let's have a look.
Professor Smith will be late for today's lecture.
So this is my sentence. The sentence was, Professor Smith will be late for today's lecture. So what I want to point out in this particular example, I want to make sure I'm not missing the S, the ED, the INGs. So if I'm taking notes using initials, Professor Smith will be late for, so this is my acronym for the word for, it's literally number 4. And because I heard them say today's lecture, I'm going to write capital T apostrophe S. So this way, even though I might forget exactly the sentence, I leave myself a little clue to remember. Now, this works perfectly in dictation. Those of you guys, a lot of my students as well watching this video, I know a lot of you practice in this way, which is an excellent thing for write from dictation. Why is it not appropriate for repeat sentences? The answer is the timing. In dictation, what I would normally do, I would do the initials, and then I would write it out really quickly, like Prof, Smith will be late for, and I know this is today's and lecture, right? And only after I do this, because now I have the words, I know exactly what they are, I'm going to type it in the exam and I'm going to make sure it's all 100% correct. But that's because I have time, right? And actually, some of you guys even type in the box directly, which is fine, but you need to actually click in the box first. The problem is, in repeat sentences, I don't have a lot of time. I have maximum 2 seconds before I have to start speaking. And as you guys may or may not know, if the recording started and you're pausing for more than 3 seconds and only then you start talking. So if you have a pause of 3 seconds or more, you don't even get to give an answer. The whole question is gone and the software will go to the next question. So it doesn't matter how smart you are or how good your memory is or how good your notes are. If you don't have time and it goes to the next question and you waited too long, it's gone. Now, another situation is some people are very good at memorizing. And as soon as they hear the sentence, they repeat it right away. So I'll show you guys an example. And pay attention to the screen as well with the timing.
The circulation desk is located on the ground floor.
The circulation desk is located on the ground floor. Now, did you notice any problems in this sentence? I got the content 100% correct. The circulation desk is located on the ground floor. I spoke fluently, I pronounced it clearly. But what's my problem there? If you have a look again at the recording on the screen, the recording hasn't actually started as well with the timing.
The circulation desk is located on the ground floor.
The circulation desk is located on the ground floor. And that's a problem. So my sentence, even though I'm speaking the content fluently, 100% correct, it's gone because the computer didn't record it, right? So what do you do in this situation? And the reason I wanted to make this video is I was checking mock tests today from some students, and I literally had students that are losing marks in 3 or 4 sentences for really, really silly mistakes like this. They practice hard, they're smart enough, they're able to get the words, but they speak either too soon or the way too long. So I'll show you an example. So in our mock test, as you guys know, we have our own mock test, which we design in a way which is similar to your real exam. And you can see on the screen a sample of one of the questions that a student was doing this morning. So here's the original audio.
The country's economy is primarily based on tourism.
The country's economy is primarily based on tourism. And that's a real exam question, by the way. And look at this lady's answer.
Primarily based on tourism.
So you see what the problem is there. She was speaking, but the software only caught the last 2 or 3 words. So look, her content is 0. It's gone because the computer didn't match the words with what they're supposed to match. So that's a really bad reason. And it oftentimes happens, especially when you guys switch from read aloud to your first repeat sentence. Now, this is a very long explanation. I know. Alex, get to the point. What do I do? So I'll show you guys what you should do in this situation. Again, some of you guys will do repeat sentences from memory. Others will take notes. I personally like to take notes because some sentences are long, and when you try to catch the whole sentence and you try to catch the first part, but then it keeps playing on and on and on, and you try to listen to the last part and you forget everything and you freeze, you get stuck, you forget the sentence. So in repeat sentences, you don't have time to write the full sentence. Again, have a look at my screen, check the timing, okay? Have a look.
Tutorials are held for 2 hours every Thursday during semester.
So look, after the recording finished, we got hardly 2 seconds. We only have 1.5 seconds. So if I'm spending that time taking initials, and again, have a look. Let's do this. Let's try this as an example.
Tutorials are held for 2 hours every Thursday during semester.
So what happens by the time I actually finish writing the whole sentence, I'm spending more than 2 or 3 seconds. And then by the time I start speaking, for sure it's going to be gone. So what I want you guys to do, the moment the audio stops playing, you stop taking notes. And even if you're a fast note taker, you won't have time to do this. You will have at most time to do maybe 5 to 6 initials. So let's have a look. Let's do a few more together.
International students can get help with locating housing near the university.
International students can get help with locating housing near the university. So I know it's a bit hard to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And keep in mind that's an easy sentence, and I've heard this one before, so it's a little bit easier. But let's say you get something longer or harder, you might not even have time to do 7 initials. You might only have time to do 5 or 6.
The student welfare officer can help with questions about exam technique.
The student welfare officer can help with questions about exam technique, or whatever was the sentence. Doesn't really matter. But look, I have time for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8, if I can write really fast. Again, for most of you guys, if you hear the sentence for the first time, myself inclusive, probably I won't be able to get 8, but I can probably get this far or this far. And the last part, you can just memorize and say it from memory. So, very short video today, but hopefully this is helpful. Again, to summarize the difference between repeat sentences and write from dictation. Repeat sentences, you don't have time to take the full sentence. You only have time to take 5 or 6 initials. The moment their recording is done, you should have a look at the screen. You should wait till it says recording, and you should start speaking. Don't write anymore. Now for write from dictation, if you manage to save your time and you have at least 5 minutes left, you have the time to actually take the full initials and then to actually fill out the whole sentence and then to type it in the box, which shouldn't take you more than 1 minute or minute and a half maximum. So hopefully this was useful, and stay tuned. We're posting regular videos every single week now, so there's a lot of stuff coming. Hopefully you guys find this useful. So this is it for this video, guys. It means a lot to us and to our team if you click like right now and you click subscribe. This is how we know that this video was valuable, that it helped you, and especially your comments. I personally read every single comment and reply to as many as I can. And the best news is whenever we share free tips and advice and it works for you and you get your score and we get good news. So as a teacher, for myself, for Sumesh, for Shan, and all the teachers on our team, this is the best, seeing people get their scores, get their acceptances, get their registrations and their PR. So leave a comment, like, and I'll see you in the next video.